In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact three-step system that I use to lower my cholesterol by 37% without prescription medication, without intense workouts, and without giving up the foods that I love. My name is Erez Avramov. I am the creator of the Heart Guardian program. And if you struggle with high cholesterol and are looking for a natural way to lower it, stay with me for this presentation because the information here could be a game changer for you. Let's dive right in, and I will share with you the exact system here. The system is based on three main pillars: diet, exercise, and mindset. Each pillar has to be addressed. Doesn't matter if you do my program, if you do any other program where you try to address lowering your cholesterol in a natural way. It's a combination of diet, exercise, and mindset. And we will dive into each and every section, so stay with me throughout this presentation, and let's begin. If you are concerned with your high cholesterol, if you have been warned by your doctor that you have to do something, or maybe you are already on lowering cholesterol medication, you are probably struggling with the three main problems. Now, I have struggled with them myself, and I will tell you my story in a little bit, but just in a short kind of a snippet, I had a heart attack when I was 45, and I was thrown into the world of heart disease and medication and was totally confused. The first thing that I encountered was information overload. And that is an area where, you just feel totally confused. All the studies and the research and the medical jargon and the products and recommendations and articles and social media, and you don't know what to do. You're getting yourself into this place of confusion and overwhelm, and at one point you just are not sure already. What do you eat? Can I eat fat? Don't eat fat? Cholesterol? No cholesterol? This is something that is totally confusing, but there is a way to work with this. The second problem that I see that most of us encounter when we're on this journey is the confusing medical terminology. Doctors start to talk with us about good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, HDL, LDL, triglycerides, saturated fat, trans fats. You're overwhelmed, right? Maybe you need medication, statins. Are they good for you, not good for you? What are the side effects? What does it does for my entire body, for my system? So when you reach that space where you are totally confused, I will share with you here several steps that will clarify that process for you and will give you a structure that you can start and work with. Because to be honest, the entire idea of the Heart Guardian program was something that I wish I had when I encountered, this condition, because I was able to stop my heart disease and even reverse it by using this exact system. So the other part that I see, and when I work with my clients, and I'm sure that you encounter this on your journey as well, is just change is difficult. Maybe you know what to do, maybe you've educated yourself on certain things, and what you are understanding now more than anything is that lifestyle habits have to change. The way that you deal with your diet, the way that you exercise, right? The way that you think, the way that you behave, the way that you do everything on a day-to-day basis in order to allow a process of change to happen is difficult. Listen, we're humans. I've studied human performance and psychology, change psychology, for more than a decade now. This is an area that I was extremely curious about to begin with for myself, to see how I can implement change in my life. And then I transferred all of this to the work that I do with my clients. And here specifically, when we deal with health, the seed of motivation, why we want to change, what are we doing, what we're doing, is extremely important to understand from the beginning. Now, a little bit about myself. I am the creator of the Heart Guardian program. This is a program that basically saved my life. And I have figured it out on my own, but through studies. I've studied nutrition, I've studied biochemistry, I studied psychology, human performance, all to put together a certain process that will allow me to deal with my heart condition. And when I talk about the seed of motivation and why I do everything that I do is this. This is my family, my wife Sonia and my two daughters, Mai and Lee. They are, at the time of recording of this, they are 16 and 12. And they are the star of my life. They are the reason why I do everything that I do. And at the age of 45, I had a full-on heart attack. Now, you need to understand, I'm a pretty active guy. Took care of my health, although my history is kind of riddled with situations. this is a little bit pictures about what was going on. In 2010, I was involved in a devastating car accident that I'm lucky to be alive from that. That led to an elective amputation. And that elective amputation basically propelled me on a journey to reach for an incredible goal that I tried to achieve. And that was to be the first amputee to ride a motorcycle in a Dakar rally. It's the longest, toughest race in the world. And I wanted to do this as an amputee. I wanted to prove myself that after my car accident and my elective amputation of my right leg below the knee, I can still do what I wanted to do. But I've learned more than trying to achieve the goal, because on the pursuit to reach Dakar, I had a major accident in one of the races and almost killed myself. And I realized that I have to stop and just take a breather there and not pursue crazy external goals. And I started a beautiful internal journey of about 2 years. My background, originally I'm from Israel. I served in the Israeli military, actually in the Air Force, in an elite commando unit. And what I found throughout these journeys is that I was able to take everything that I've learned as a young man in Israel, as an elite commando soldier, and then as somebody who had to recover from different health conditions and amputations and crazy stuff, and still pursuing goals. And I've put all of it together in a program that today I share with my clients to show you how you can do it yourself. I mean, this is what you're here for. You are attracted to the idea of the possibility of lowering cholesterol naturally. Because when you encounter this and you speak with doctors and specialists and you go and see your cardiologist, I don't know in what stage you are, maybe advanced on your journey with heart disease, it's a scary place to be. I had a heart attack at the age of 45. After I went through all of this, took care of my nutrition, my health, my exercise, I was in great shape, right? And this came out of nowhere. And the doctors told me straight up front, hey, Erez, this is what you're suffering from. This is genetic. It's a genetic predisposition. Doesn't matter how much lettuce you're going to eat or how much exercise you're going to do. You have to be on medication. This is something that you cannot change, right? And I want to share with you here my results, and in a minute I'll show you the slide of the before and after. This is when I realized that the medication that I was on statins and on blood pressure lowering medication in order to recover from the heart attack. And the side effects were so severe for me, right? I mean, you may be on them and you don't experience the same side effects, but what I've learned was that long-term consumption of these medications is very hard on the liver. I suffered from multiple side effects, from a brain fog. I lost my ability to speak clearly. I couldn't sleep. I had anxiety attacks. My libido was low. No erections for a while. It was scary, seriously. And every time I felt a little bit of pain around my chest, I thought, oh my God, there's another heart attack coming. So I had to really address this in a way that can allow me to safely walk the journey here with heart disease and find a way how to do this properly. So what I realized was that the three main components of every program, and this is what I want to share with you here today. If you don't work with me after this and you decide to go on your own, I want to give you enough information so you can actually do this on your own. Start and build your own program, because there is a way to decrease medication if you're on, even eliminate it like myself, and stop your heart disease if you're on the process. Because if you have high cholesterol, you have to understand, high cholesterol is just a red flag. It's just an indication that something is off. Something in your body doesn't function properly. Your liver producing cholesterol and the way that the hormones are metabolizing that cholesterol, something is off. And this is the red flag that most doctors are working with. It's just one indicator out of a variety of indicators of heart disease, right? High blood pressure is another one. There are different tests and lab blood tests that we can do to identify if you really are at high risk or not. When a doctor looks only at your total cholesterol, high density cholesterol, the LDL and the HDL, and based on that gives you a prognosis, oh, you're suffering from high cholesterol, we have to put you on statins. That's not necessarily the fact. There are deeper tests to check this lipid called cholesterol and to understand what kind. There is ApoB, there is different types of tests that we can do to understand the levels of bad cholesterol versus good cholesterol. But I don't want to get into more details here. What I want to give you is the entire program here so you can actually look at it for yourself and decide if this is something that you're interested in and you want to do. The first thing in any diet that you look at has to have this biosignature code. Look, you are unique. Your biochemistry is unique. The way that your body metabolizes food and processes it is unique to you. The idea of a one-size-fits-all diet is a total misconception. If you think that you can go on a paleo diet or a keto diet or whatever, Atkins diet, whatever you think is good for you, the idea is that this one-size-fits-all just doesn't apply. And especially if you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you have to take into account where you are right now, what levels of cholesterol you are, what types of foods are optimized for you. It's not necessarily what to eat and not to eat, it's the combination and the balance between them. Because I want to share with you something that has revolutionized my approach to diet. Diet, as far as I'm concerned, is the ability of the body to digest what we put in our mouths. That digestive process is so important. And if your digestive system is not balanced and it's not operating optimally, it doesn't matter how much superfoods and supplements and minerals and shakes and whatever you're going to put in your body, it's not going to be digested properly. This is why we have to understand where you are and take into account a variety of areas of your life to determine what kind of diet, what kind of nutrition you actually need to concentrate on. When you talk about high cholesterol, yes, of course, we talk about reduction of fats, we talk about reduction of saturated fat, we talk about reduction of food cholesterol, things of that nature. But to understand where you are, it is what I call an integrated approach. We want to take your medical history, we want to take your history with diets, your history with nutrition, why you started them, why you didn't pursue them or failed. Now when you're trying to change your lifestyle around cholesterol because you want to address that, and heart health, what are the issues that are going to come up? All of those things have to be accounted for under an integrated approach. This is why I created the Heart Guardian program, because what I realized was that I didn't have a clear path. Anywhere I looked, somebody told me to do something else. Oh, eat more of this, less of that. Oh, take this mineral and this supplement and this vitamin and this. And I go to my cardiologist and he says, oh, no, we have to put you on medication. That's the only thing that will lower your cholesterol. And it is not true. Now, it is not true for all of us. There are some extreme cases, and I'm aware of them. I've done my research for many years. I worked with top doctors and researchers across the country, and I understand that there are conditions that are, what's called beyond the tipping point, right? But most of us are kind of, when you look at the bell curve, most of us are somewhere in between there, and we can deal with our condition naturally. We don't have to rely on medication. And the problem with medication, it's a false safety guard, right? It's like a patch on a burn. You think that if you take statins, that allows you to continue your lifestyle as usual. But statins don't solve the problem of high cholesterol. Yes, they lower cholesterol. Biochemistry is amazing. Us as humans, we've created this entire idea of statins, and they can lower the cholesterol levels. But that's not the problem. The problem that you have elevated cholesterol, it comes from a much deeper issue within your system. Your hormones and enzymes may be out of balance. You may encounter a condition of chronic inflammation, which is the cause of really heart disease and hardening of the arteries. These things go very, very deep, and I cover them in my program when I work with my clients to understand the concepts and the ideas of what it is cholesterol, what is heart disease. All of those things are part of it. I'm not going to dive into depth here because I just want to give you the overall idea of this program and share with you the information that will help you start and build your own. And if you decide that you want my help, then all you need to do is book a call, and we'll talk a little bit about where you're at. I'll share with you more information about the plan, and we'll see if this is a good fit for us to work together on this. But this plan basically gives you a one clear path to follow based on diet, based on nutrition, based on exercise and mindset, and all the pitfalls and areas that we can encounter along a path of change. All of them have to be accounted for. Because what I found is that we may have the best goals in the world, but if we don't show up and if we don't address them systematically and we kind of tip those dominoes one at a time by small daily changes. If you try and change everything at once, extremely difficult. I'm sure you've tried it many times in your life. And the problem is it's just not sustainable. So my approach is what I call micro successes. And we work in a very gradual way to get you to where you need to be. Now, the program for the diet that I use and I work with my clients goes much deeper than this. I can give you general recommendations, but they are not personalized to you. So I work with a program that comes from Germany. It's called Metabolic Balance. You're welcome to go and research it on the net. What it is, this program basically is based on a blood test. We take a personalized blood test and we check 36 biochemical markers that are your biosignature code. Based on the results of those blood tests, I can now build a nutritional program that is customized for you. It's not about what to eat and not to eat. It's more about what is the optimal nutrition based on you. You may be susceptible for certain allergies. You may be sensitive to certain types of foods. Because of your own medication and your history and all of those things, we may see certain markers, your thyroid functions, your liver functions, all sorts of things that could be out of balance. And by optimizing your nutrition with metabolic balance, I can actually provide you now with a full solution to your nutrition. I mean, this is remarkable and it is very unique. And throughout my programs, I also teach my clients a lot about nutrition. They learn to understand not just what to eat and how much to eat, but what is the best food for them to consume. So this is the part of the biosignature, kind of the diet phase. The other part that you need to include in your diet plan, and this is just one pillar out of three, right? As I said, there are three main pillars here: diet, exercise, and mindset. The diet, we talked about metabolic balance as the engine for your nutrition. But then before you start any diet, I want you to really consider to do a cleanse. And what's the benefit of a cleanse? A cleanse provides the body with certain kind of benchmarks which are necessary before we introduce nutritional change. The first thing that a cleanse does is start the process of eliminating toxins. Now, with the right nutrition and with the right cleanse, you are now revving your system, revving your metabolism, allowing toxins to move into your digestive system and then be removed from the body. So a good cleanse will allow you to eliminate toxins. The other part that a good cleanse does, it does a reset to your digestive system. Listen, we overwhelm our bodies with different things. Even if you try to eat properly, even if you take the supplements and the shakes and the whatever it is you're trying to do to better your health, your system may be on overload and it cannot digest what you're putting inside your body. And even worse, maybe you eat the wrong foods. Maybe you eat, a lot of fried foods. Maybe you eat saturated fat, a lot of animal products that are not good for you if you're trying to deal with cholesterol. Those are things that have to be addressed. So reset the digestive system is something that the cleanse will allow you to do as well. It's a great opportunity to just let things calm down before we introduce the nutritional changes that are going to benefit you so much. The other thing is that a good cleanse starts to improve circulation. When we talk about cholesterol, lowering cholesterol, dealing with high blood pressure, dealing with, maybe different symptoms related to your condition, a good cleanse starts to work with allowing a better circulation in your body. And this is very, very important because the next step is where we introduce the actual diet. Now, clients that I work with, we do a juice cleanse for the first 48 hours. This juice cleanse is very, very dedicated and it's very specific. It's chosen based on 10 years of research, and I use only ingredients that are scientifically proven to lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure. And you do this only for 2 days. I don't subscribe for, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. Some clients may go into 5 days on a juice cleanse, but on the most part, we're just trying to flush the system and replace the things that we're trying to eliminate with the best nutrients possible, and then start the next step, which is customized diet. The customized diet is basically for you, not just to lose weight, because most of us need to lose some weight, especially men. If you carry weight around your waist, and here's a little exercise I would love you to do, just to see where you are risk level. If you have a flexible tape measure, do this. Just measure your circumference around the hips, right? Where your belly button is, and measure where you're at. If you are, my friend, over 40 inches, which is 102 centimeters, waist circumference, you're at the risk level for further deterioration of your condition. It's not just cholesterol, it's not just weight, it's not just fat. This is an indication that the World Health Organization and the top doctors and physicians around the world use as a benchmark for general health. For men, as soon as we get over 40 inches, it's a red flag. There's an indication there. So go do this for yourself right now and see where you're at, because this is an area to take seriously and address properly. So the customized nutrition here, which I said is based on metabolic balance, I do it in a form of coaching, so you're not alone. You know exactly what to do and how to do, and if you encounter issues, there's always someone there to help you. And it's based on your biochemistry, your medical history, and your food preferences, right? I'm not the one to tell you, hey, stop eating everything. I will tell you, hey, listen, there are certain foods that you may like, but they may not be beneficial for you. But there are specific foods that you love, and we want to have them on your menu, because if I will tell you eat broccoli all day and you hate broccoli, it's not going to work, right? So we need to adjust it to do something in between and slowly introduce the right changes over time. Nothing happens overnight, so it's a gradual process. So a good nutritional diet that is customized will allow you to balance nutritional deficiencies. This is something that you encounter and you probably suffer from because of the habits that you have, the way that you eat. And if you take medication actually interferes with nutritional deficiencies, minerals and vitamins and hormones production and all of those things. So we have to address that. The second part is to improve hormone production. A good diet, which is customized, starts to rebalance your hormones. Your hormones are the building blocks of every mechanism in the body. Any area of your body of healing and growth and replacement is propelled by hormones. So we want to make sure that those are produced properly and reduce inflammation. One of the main areas that you will see if you decide to work with me is that you will start to understand the issue of inflammation and how crippling this condition is. And this is actually the base of what is creating a heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. All of those things are mostly related to inflammation. And if you are now in a chronic inflammation condition, now this is a very difficult place to be in, because we have to address it and we have to deal with the inflammation. We don't want to put a patch. If you have a fire in your body, you can't just put a mask on and say, I don't see it. You have to take it down, right? And this is what the nutrition is going to do for you. Now, when you work with me, you get a customized plan, you get step-by-step, everything is based on your blood test and the results that we've received, so I can give you the exact things. But if you work on your own and you can't work with me, then make sure that if you start to build a certain diet for yourself, just follow the indications of what a good heart health diets look like. And if you're interested, just send me a quick note. I will send you my report that will allow you to start and understand how to build your own nutrition program. Okay, so this is what here we just covered the diet component. Now, I just want you to understand that the diet component here is medically supervised and scientifically designed. This is not something I invented out of thin air. We have a team of doctors that are behind this program. They didn't just put it together, but this was researched and studied over years. Hundreds and thousands of people around the world are using this program. I've used this for the diet component in mind. The next part is exercise. When you start to address exercise in your total program, right, it has to be accounted for, diet and exercise. Now, exercise has three main components, and I want you to concentrate here for a sec with me and understand that you have to address these three all the time when you exercise. You have to do some sort of a cardio exercise. I call it cardio shield. This is the cardiovascular activity to allow better fitness for your heart and for your lungs, strength and resistance to build up muscle and strength in your body, and flexibility to allow a good range of motion and joint movement that will prevent injury, right? So quickly, let's cover those together. Cardiovascular fitness. I always recommend low impact activities. You may think that you need to do something extreme like running or biking or swimming or things like that. if you don't have access to something that is available for you every day, most likely you won't follow it. So my recommendation is always concentrate on low impact activities. You will see the number one activity that I recommend in a second. It has to be accessible, otherwise you won't do it. If you have to go to the gym every time or to the swimming pool or put your bike out and everything else, it's just likely if you're not a hardcore athlete, you won't persist and you won't do it every time. So it needs to be a simple activity that you can do regularly, and it has to be progressive. It has to be something that you can build upon and work with along the time. Now, I always recommend for my clients to concentrate on walking. We go through 3 different types of programs. We start with a 4-week program, and then there's the second phase and the third phase. And we work with walking. It's a combination of regular pace walking and brisk walking, varied terrain. What we want a variability of heart rate. We want you to sweat a little bit, but we want you to do this sustainably. So if you are looking at a good exercise for you, if you are trying to lower cholesterol and deal with your heart health, walking is probably the best exercise you can do because you'll do it all the time. It's very accessible. Pure strength. Pure strength has to take into account a variety of issues. This is where things can become a little bit complicated for most of us. I've studied physical exercise for many, many years to learn that here are the main components: frequency, adherence, volume, intensity, variety, progression, rest and recovery. All of those things have to be taken into account when we do strength training, right? You can't just, lift a few dumbbells or, pull some bands and you're done. All of those things have to be taken into account. This is why the entire program of the Heart Guardian is customized for you based on your condition, based on your health. Maybe you're injured, maybe you're limited, maybe you can't do certain exercises. So we want to make sure, if you're suffering from knee injuries, back injuries, shoulder injuries, you don't want to just jump into the gym and start and do some exercises unsupervised. So the program here is personalized. If you work with me, I build a specific program for you that is, again, customized, and you get it delivered online. Very easy to do. We're talking about 20 minutes to half an hour. And we do a combination between walking and this type of exercise on a regular basis. Now, the last part is vital flexibility. Flexibility is for injury prevention. It's for joint mobility and strength. If you're going to do exercises, we want you to have a good range of motion. We want you to be strong. We want you to really understand how the systems work together so you'll be able to do this for the long run, right? So flexibility, especially for us men, hip flexibility, shoulder flexibility, extremely important. If we just are regular, gym workouts type of guys, then most of our muscles are very tight. And as soon as you start to introduce some new exercises, injury can happen. So take care of that and make sure you are dealing with flexibility. Now, before we end, the last part is the mindset. Now, this is probably what I think the most important. You can have the perfect diet, you can have the perfect exercise plan, you can have all the bells and whistles that you want, but if your mindset is not properly focused, if you don't know the pitfalls you're about to encounter, if you don't have someone to guide you through those areas, then most likely something will happen, life will happen, and it will just, you'll fail, right? I mean, most of us have tried so many times probably to change different areas of our life. This is the same as if you try to do changes in other areas of your life, but especially with diet and exercise, they are even more difficult. The number one complaint that I hear from my clients is the emotional eating part, which is so difficult for them to handle. And I deal with this in a very unique way. I have a system, it's called the HALT method, that I teach my client. There's an entire cycle of emotional eating. In order to break the cycle, you need to understand what happens. Now, for most of us, there's a certain stress, there's a trigger, something you heard, something somebody said to you, something you did, something you saw that triggered you, right? You're upset, now something has happened. What do? We reach for comfort food. It's called comfort food because we're reaching for comfort, right? So this is what we're looking to do. And then we eat that food, cookies, chocolate, ice cream, pizza, whatever. Temporary moment of relief, right? The comfort food has done its chore and it worked. But then we kick into guilt and shame and anger, why we did it, and we get into this cycle. And now we're so agitated again that we want to soothe that situation, and the cycle continues. So with my program, I teach you how to identify the cycle and how to break it. This is a very unique approach, And it's extremely powerful because it does allow you to move forward. The other part in mindset is stress eradication. We all know this. If you are in the heart disease category, if you are trying to lower your cholesterol to prevent deterioration of heart disease or prevent heart attack or strokes, we know today that stress is a major part that contributes to deterioration and aggravation of heart disease, and at the end could cause a heart attack and a stroke. So in my program, I address this very, very deeply. Now, if you decide to do this program on your own, make sure that you deal with this. Just in a general viewpoint, the areas that you need to concentrate on would be meditation. Now, if you don't like meditation and you don't even connect to it, that's fine. I teach you other alternatives to allow you to relax, to allow you to deal when there's a stressful situation that comes about, how to lower your stress levels, and how to create an environment around you on a regular basis that will support low stress. This is extremely important because you can do the diet perfectly, you can do the exercise perfectly, but if you don't manage stress, if it's related to home stress, work stress, mind stress, you're just always in your head, then your condition may deteriorate as well. So we have to address it too. And the last part, the self-sabotage stopper. What happens for most of us is that maybe we start to see success, maybe we see some progress, but there is something in us, there is something in our past, in our present, in the way we think, in the way we see the world, the filters through which we interpret things, that starts to creep up to the surface, and all of a sudden we start to cut corners, we start to not do the best habits and what we did that helped us, right? We just stop. You've started a great diet and you're starting to lose weight and your cholesterol is dropping, and all of a sudden something happens and you just break it, right? So we deal with self-sabotage. It's a very unique cycle as well that we need to understand how it works in order to break it, but you also need the proper support because we all fall between the cracks. Listen, we're humans, we're not machines. I know this probably the best, the thousands of times that I have failed, but was able to stand up again and really achieve success and move forward and change habits because I've used these mechanisms, I've studied them in depth, I've created mechanisms that work, I simplify them in a way that you can actually utilize them in your own life, and all of that comes together under the Heart Guardian system. I work with men because, guys, I know where you're at. We think differently, we operate differently, we cook differently if we cook at all, and we exercise differently. There are so many things that this program can help you with. And this is the reason why I put it together. This is why this video is, right now, where are we? 32 minutes into this video, because it's important for me to share with you. There is an alternative. There is a way to stop heart disease. You don't have to end up with a stroke or with a heart attack or, God forbid, pass out of this world because of that. We can deal with this. I have done it myself, 100% proven. I have clients that have done this. There are case studies and research and amazing progress in the field of working in a holistic, natural way to deal with these kind of diseases. This is an invitation for you to participate in something like this. If you are interested in my program, if you are interested to work with me, all I tell you and suggest is book your call, click the button below, schedule a time at your convenience. We'll go on a quick phone call, get to know each other a little bit. I'll share with you some more details about the program, what it is, what it looks like. You can share with me where you're at and the challenges you're faced with. And there's also a piece of homework that after you book your call, I'll ask you to do, because this will really help you, this piece of homework. So if you click the button and you schedule your call, it will direct you to a download of a PDF. It's a questionnaire. That questionnaire is very insightful. It will give you an understanding of where you are, how you think, how you behave, what affects you on a day-to-day basis. And even if you don't decide, if you don't work with me, which is totally fine, guys, this is an invitation for you if you want to do this. But if you want to do it on your own, that's all cool. And I share tons of resources and information so I can empower you to try and do your best. But if you feel that you need the support, do this, book the call, fill the questionnaire. We'll meet together over the phone, and I will help you to move forward in this confusing, but the possibility of change and health is there. I am now at the top of my health on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, business, performance, you name it. I've transformed my entire life, and I'm offering this to you. So if you're interested, click the button, book the call, and I'll see you soon. All the best.